Look, Cody, your efforts were impressive in the first game, but we're just getting started. It's time for round 2 to begin.
Round 2 it is, asshole. So Saw 2 tells the story of a group of convicts held out in a house trying to figure out a way to escape. All the while, a grizzled detective tries his best to battle Jigsaw and save his son's life. Welcome back, everybody, to the next round of the Saw review series leading up to the release of Spiral this May. If you have not already seen it, I have dropped my review of the original film Saw, so check that one out. Also, guys, be sure to like and share this video if you enjoy it, and hit that subscribe button if you enjoy it so much that you want to check out the rest of this series or any of the other content, other review series that I have available and things that I will be doing in the future. And if you enjoy it so much that you want to contribute and help this channel out, the best way to do that is check down below in the video description for the link to my Patreon page. That's the easiest and the best way to support this channel and get cool exclusive privileges for your eyes only, such as review requests for a certain tier, as well as Blu-ray digital copy code giveaways that I do just about every week, every other week on there for all my patrons. So check that out, guys. Thank you so much for considering that. And everybody else, Saw 2. This is a sequel that certainly goes for a different pace, a different scale than the first film. The first film was very small scale, very confined, very concentrated on one location with some backstory and some side storyline going along outside of this bathroom. But you get to Saw 2 and it's much bigger in scale. And that's actually my first positive of the film, is I actually think that this pacing works better and is better with this bigger scale. It's a bigger cast. You have multiple people stuck into this trap where there's like 6 or 7 convicts of very different personalities, different actors, stuck in this house that is riddled with traps where they have to find syringes to get rid of this nerve agent that's being pumped into the rooms, as well as just survive these different tests and traps to be able to escape the house, whether or not they get the injection or not. And all the while you have this main storyline going along with Donnie Wahlberg, where he is a detective that is being tested overall for using brute force and for planting evidence, and he is put to the test by Jigsaw to basically watch this entire trap fiasco go down with his son as one of the people stuck in this house, and sit there and endure it until the end, and he will in fact get his child back at the end of it. Probably not gonna work out that way though, right? You guys know how these movies end. But yeah, bigger scale, better pace, that was really good. And I also think that Donnie Wahlberg is actually a big, drastic improvement as far as acting quality. If you watch my first review, a little sketchy with some of those performances. Donnie Wahlberg, I actually think, is a very underrated actor. You know, you look back at films like Sixth Sense, and for the small bit that he's in that, he's awesome. And here, he definitely has a lot of the attitude that you see his brother Mark bring to a lot of roles, but he has a little bit of a different flavor to it. So him kind of being this lead character, this grizzled detective, this rough around the edges guy, I think he plays it very well. I think that he's cool enough and he's badass enough to where you feel like you understand why he would need to be tested, but at the same time, that father-son dynamic, you really root for him and you want him to pass this test and get his son back. And even though Jigsaw's a cool character, whenever he starts to lose it, you're kind of on Donnie Wahlberg's side. So he's a character that I thought was a big addition to this second film.
He has about 2 hours before the gas creeping into his nervous system begins to break down his body tissue, and he begins to bleed from every orifice he has. Oh yes, there will be blood.
And speaking of an upgraded cast, this is the first film in the franchise where Tobin Bell as Jigsaw actually gets to be a prominent piece of the film. Of course, he's a prominent presence in the first film, but you don't really get to see the actor performing as Jigsaw aside from one scene in a cloak where you can't really see who it is. Aside from that, the final reel of the film, that's the only time you get to see it in the first Saw movie. You get to Saw 2, and he's front and center the entire time. He's right there. He's in a chair. He's taking on Donnie Wahlberg and all these SWAT officers. He is right there, not hiding, and he is a very prominent piece of this film. He gets a lot of dialogue. He gets to flesh out the character of Jigsaw much more. You get to kind of understand where he's coming from a little bit more, whether or not you agree with it or not, whether or not you think it's bullshit or not. Again, I'll get into that. He's a good piece to this second film, and like I've already kind of teased with my first Saw review, I think that him and his mortality in this franchise is a big reason for differentiating quality going past the third film. So in Saw 2, this might be the best Tobin Bell performance you get as Jigsaw, because you only get to see him a few times in these 8 films. And being that he's a character that doesn't have a lot of screen time throughout these 7, soon to be 8 films, don't know if he's going to be in that one or not, this might be his best performance as Jigsaw. Again, not a lot to choose from, but he's very good here. Tobin Bell's a cool actor. He certainly embodies Jigsaw. This movie puts him front and center more than most of these films. I also think the traps in this one are not only a little bit more creative, but they're a little bit more gruesome and they're a little bit more exciting, especially the one that opens it up, that kind of Venus flytrap thing. To me, that's the most iconic look. I know the reverse bear trap is probably the one that you see most often. It's certainly the one that gets replicated in thumbnails, and I think Trick or Treat Studios even has like a prop replica of it. That Venus flytrap, that one, like the whole opening sequence of that just makes me cringe. Just the thought of having to cut out your eyeball to get something so that your face doesn't get crushed by a bunch of needles or spikes or whatever. It's just like, somebody is really fucked up sitting in a room coming up with this shit. But even beyond that one that a lot of people talk about is the whole, needle in a haystack trap, where there's just this pit of hypodermic needles and Amanda gets thrown into it and like 18 of them just puncture her all over the place and she has to sift through them to try to find the one with the key onto it. That one's pretty gruesome, especially if you have a fear of needles. You got the box where the dumbass chick puts her arms in and the razor blades come down and she can't get herself out. And you look at that, there's a lock right there. There was a tape that she threw away. It probably was the easiest trap to survive, but motherfuckers be dumb. And even just the whole concept of this house, the locked house with the safe combinations on the neck and the different traps and the syringe, just that whole very kind of widened concept of a trap exploded into a gigantic building. I thought that was pretty cool and creative as well. All leading to a very good twist ending, which I will go on record and say that I actually like better than the ending in the first film. I know the first one is the most talked about, the most iconic, the most celebrated of these twist endings, but this one actually works a little bit better to me. There's some logic issues with the first one that I can go along for the ride with, but doesn't necessarily hit me as hard past that initial surprise of who the fuck is that standing up. You get to this one, and not only the whole concept of this video feed actually being pre-recorded and being something to trick Donnie Wahlberg's character, I thought was very smart, that I did not see coming. Then you have the whole angle of Amanda actually being an apprentice to Jigsaw, which I did not see coming. I thought was a very cool expansion of her character from the first film, and wraps things up in a really nice way to where if this was the final film, as we know it wasn't, it was a cool, very calculated spot to end things, and you go, oh, this dude's about to die, but she's about to carry that shit on. Jigsaw lives. That's pretty fucking wild.
Game over.
I'll fucking kill you! Fucking back!
Now moving on to the negatives. You get a bigger cast in this. You get a bigger collection of victims, of trappees. Their acting's mediocre. I mean, we'll just call it that. And that's an easy shot to take in a movie like this. Most horror film actors are not all that great. They're not required to be all that great. You get some surprises here and there, but out of this little collection of cast, especially when you have somebody with the acting caliber, in my opinion, of Donnie Wahlberg stacked up here, they look a lot poorer in comparison. And most of these actors, they're serviceable. Like I said, there's not like an embarrassment. There's not a Carrie Elways or a Lee Winnell walking around in this little group, but they're just okay. There's no character or no performance inside of this group of victims that stands out, that makes you like that character more or identify with that character more or root for that character more. You want the son to live just because of that father-son storyline going on, but beyond that, you really could give a fuck about any of them. And a lot of that goes to the performances. And tied in with that, I'm gonna call this character Muscle Bob Buff Pants, because I don't know what the fuck his character name was, but the big, bulky Hispanic guy that's just, he's on juice the entire movie, and he's like, don't you fucking run. I'm gonna cut my, I'm just pissed off all the time. I don't listen to anybody. That character was annoying. Every character, every little scene that he was in, it was just like, dude, you're dialing it up about 3 notches too much. Just bring it back down a little bit. You're like on fucking steroids from the second you walk into this film until the second that you leave it. And I know he's supposed to be kind of an antagonistic character by the end of it, but make that be a surprise. Make that be something that's kind of out of nowhere. This dude, like as soon as he shows up, you're like, oh, that fucking guy, get rid of him now. He's gonna fuck you all up. Like I called out in the first Saw, I will continue to say it here, and I will continue to say it for every movie that does not convince me or write in a way to make it more convincing. The whole concept of Jigsaw not being a killer, which in this one he's like, I've never killed anybody in my entire life. Bullshit! You're a fucking murderer! For the same reasons I said in the first review. Some of this shit is unwinnable. There's literally a sequence where SWAT officers are going into his hideout, his domain, and one dude gets his legs practically cut the fuck off. Who knows if that guy survives or not? And the other two get electrocuted to death where they fall down. Like, are they being tested? They're just cops doing their job and you just fucking killed 2, possibly 3 of them, but you're not a murderer? Cool, Jigsaw. And my final negative with Saw 2, which again, is kind of an easy shot to take at it, but it is legit. This movie does not have the originality or the iconic visuals that the first film had. When you see like Billy the Puppet come out for the first time, or when you hear Jigsaw's voice, or anything that was really cool and unique in that first film, this one doesn't feel like it does anything that stands out like that, aside from maybe a couple of the traps, but there's just nothing visually striking about Saw 2. It's kind of more the same. It's done a little bit better in my opinion. It's a little bit tightened, it's a little bit more oiled of a machine, but there's nothing that stands out about it to where, like, if I saw an image of something iconic in Saw 2, I'm like, oh, that's cool, I'll take a picture of that. There's some things that I would have with the first Saw that would be cool hung up on a wall. Saw 2, the Venus flytrap, maybe that's it. I think that is it. Yeah, that's it. And going along with that, which is again something that I'm probably going to say a lot in this franchise, maybe not, I might surprise myself and surprise you as well. The movie does start to feel a little bit repetitive at a certain point, to where it's just kind of going through the same themes, the same tropes, the same theme songs, the same setups, the same pacing. The first Saw film was unique when it did that. You get to this one, and there's pieces of it that do feel repetitive, that feel like more the same, that feel like it's just kind of doing the same thing over again. And I'm sure it's probably going to feel worse the more of these films that I watch, because I have 6 more of these things to go. But with all that being said, I think that Saw 2 is a little bit better than Saw. I know it's probably not a popular opinion. I might be on an island with that one. The comment section will let me know very quickly, but I have always enjoyed this film more than the first one. I think that it's a little bit tighter. Even though you don't have a great celebrated director like James Wan, what you have is Darren Lynn Bousman, who does this one and does the third one, has gone on to do a couple other movies, and is actually returning to do Spiral, if I'm not mistaken. And he puts his own little stamp on it, and it works. I like the bigger scale. I think it's paced a little bit better. I like Donnie Wahlberg's addition. I like the fact you get more Tobin Bell. The traps are more iconic. Acting, a little bit of an upgrade, not much. Certainly more repetitive, not as iconic, not as original as the first film. But overall, this is a Saw film that I will have no problem revisiting. If I'm going to revisit a Saw film, this is probably one of the first ones that I will pick. So if you enjoyed the first movie and you want to see that concept scaled up a bit, you want to see more of Jigsaw, more of the traps, and see more people in this victimized situation, Saw 2 has all of that for you in spades. And I actually think this one is worthy of your collection. So go out and buy it. So what do you guys think of Saw 2? Do you like this one more than the first one? Do you not like it as much? Is this your favorite, your least favorite? Do you like the new traps? Do you like the expanded cast? Do you like Donnie Wahlberg? Is Tobin Bell kick-ass in this one? Let me know all of your thoughts down below on Saw 2 and we will talk about it. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you are new to this channel and want to check out some more and buckle in for the rest of this Saw review franchise. Hit that subscribe button if you are not already a subscriber and you want to check out some more of my content and buckle your ass in for the rest of this Saw review series. And as always, guys, remember, opinions are like assholes, but that doesn't mean that you have to be.